The Sky Beyond the Senses, a Kala parable of liberation. In the sacred grove of Kali Kavan, hidden within the folds of Siddhashrama, there lived a wanderer named Avigna. He was once a Vedic scholar, trained in recitation and logic, yet something within him had cracked open one night beneath a blood-red moon. The scriptures that once inspired awe now felt like veils. He no longer sought verses, but that which was before verses. One evening, as the twilight merged sky and earth, he approached the fire altar of an ancient Kala adept known only as Mahanirvani, the mistress of dissolution. She was draped in serpents and silence. Around her, nature held its breath, not in fear, but in reverence. Avigna bowed low and said, "O Divi, my senses no longer satisfy, my mind no longer binds, and the world no longer holds me. What remains when the world disappears?" Mahanirvani looked into his eyes, which still shimmered with the last waves of seeking. She said, "What remains when all the senses fall silent, when the dance of pleasure and pain ends, when even the watcher falls away? That is Shiva." He closed his eyes, and at once a vast darkness unfolded. It was not the darkness of ignorance, but of depth, a depth that had no bottom, no top, no sides. It pulsed with something, yet that something had no name. There was no breath, no desire, no thought. And yet it was. When he opened his eyes again, Mahanirvani whispered, "That which is when all else ceases to be is also present now when all seems to be." Like space, untouched, unmarked. Shiva is the untouched presence, even amid sensation. Avigna asked, "Then why these gods? Why these texts and myths and names? Why Brahma, Indra, Rudra? Why Vedas and Puranas? Why call the one anything at all?" Mahanirvani laughed softly, not in mockery, but in infinite compassion. "O Vigna, the gods are dreams of compassion. They are mirrors held up for those still drunk on names and forms. The scriptures are not chains, they are doors. The gods came not to bind, but to burn ignorance. Their myths are flames that scorch the illusion of two." She continued, "They use the words consciousness, Brahman, Shiva, self, Supreme Lord, not to divide, but to dissolve the mind's obsession with division. One looks at the sky from a window and calls it north or south, but the sky was never divided." Then, rising from her seat, she took sacred ash from the fire and smeared it across his brow. "Now become the sky," she said. And in that moment, the Kala fire within him blazed. The last knot of duality untied itself. He no longer needed to seek Shiva. He had vanished, and only Shiva remained. Thus ends the parable, the freedom of the Kala. In Kala Tantra, liberation is not escape. It is the recognition that there was never bondage. The adepts do not worship Shiva as other. They dissolve into Shiva like camphor into flame. The senses rise and fall. Pleasure and pain flicker like lamps in wind. The scriptures murmur their truths. The gods descend as voices of the Absolute. But the awakened Kala sees one essence behind all masks and becomes it, not by belief, not by effort, but by direct recognition. I am that. I am Shiva. I am truth. I am.